So we got Wolves up. Do you guys want to listen in?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's listen. Let's see who's up. Who's up? All right, there he is, Ant. Let's listen in.
I'm ready to play. I don't know how much different. I've been in the playoffs the last 3 years, so I'm just ready to get it going.
And Mike said he could tell that you're locked in as soon as you found the matchup. Just what does that look like for you? Is it different than the regular season? Do you do things differently? Like, how do you?
I just send text messages out, call my teammates, meet with them in person, talk to them. You know, because we all got to be on the same page, man. Because at this point in the season, it don't matter who get 20 points, 30 points. It don't matter. It don't matter if I have 5 points. It don't matter if Julius got 5 points. If some nights it maybe Nas get 30. This whole series, Jaden might average 25, so it doesn't matter who get all the buckets and shots, man. We got to be willing to shoot the ball, no matter if we making or missing shots. We got to be confident, and we know it's going to be a tough battle, man. You know, so got to be
Mike
ready.
talked about patience. How hard is that in the cauldron of the playoffs?
You said what?
Well, you know, the fiery atmosphere of the playoffs.
About patience with it being fiery?
Yeah. Well, no. In other words, is it hard to be patient when everything is so hype?
I'm not. I mean, it's not hype to me. I'm just ready to play. Yeah, I'm good.
Mike was saying that they're going to rely on you to make the right decision
all
every
night.
Time. Like, how far do you think you've come in that department over the last year, 2 years here now?
I've gotten better and better every year. Like I said, me and C. Hines watch film all the time on adjustments and reads to make, and we know pretty much. I mean, they may throw something different at us, but if not, we used to their coverages as far as tilting the floor, overly in the gap. So just being willing to get off the ball to my teammates, and that goes back to me texting and talking to my teammates. Like I told Mike, you got to be willing to shoot 5 straight catch and shoot threes. Don't turn none down. Dante, Nikhil, Nas, Jaden, you got to be willing to shoot those shots and not turn anything down. And I got to be willing to make those passes every time, you know, to open the defense up for me to be able to get downhill.
Do you anticipate they'll throw a lot of different things at you? I mean, is playoffs a lot different? Did Dallas do a lot of things different to you that you'd never seen during the regular season? Is playoffs that much different?
Nah, they didn't do anything different. It was regular. I just wasn't ready to play versus Dallas last year, but I'll be ready.
It just seems like, going back to like in December, you're frustrated about the double teams, and then it feels like you've started to find a way to, when they put two on you, to get it back and stay involved. How has that grown, and how important is that in this series?
I think that came with me getting in better shape, cause being able to like boomerang actions, chasing the ball, like passing it, chasing it. Playing out of the bottom of the floor, just being willing to be open to do more things. Because, of course, I used to be one-dimensional, just handle the ball all day, try to create shots for myself. But like I said, I've gotten better and better, being able to move without the ball, cut, screen for my teammates, and get other guys open. So it should be fun.
And I know you probably don't care about this, but there's a lot of people talking about the Lakers, and a lot of the conversation's been about the Lakers now. They probably, or according to them, might be the winners of this series. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like you guys have been overlooked, especially making a Western Conference Finals run last year?
Nah, I love it. Yeah.
Why?
I just love it. Yeah, it's dope. I mean, I love the fact that everybody want the Lakers to win. That's how it's supposed to be. They don't want the Timberwolves to win. I get it.
Yeah, you always talk about your defense and the value of that, to priding yourself on impacting the game on both sides of the floor. Talking a lot about what you have to do offensively, but whether it's you're matched up with Luka, LeBron, or whatever it's going to be, like, where are you at on the defensive side of this matchup?
Super locked in. I got to be locked in off the ball because I know they may try to attack me when I'm not on the ball. So I got to be locked in on cutters and stuff. Because on the ball, I'm not really worried. I'm gonna play pretty good defense. I just got to be willing to compete, and that, like I said, that comes with being in shape. And these last couple of days, I've been trying to push myself a little bit more so I can be in the best shape and be ready to play both sides.
You're also a pure shooter. I mean, the three-point speaks for itself. How has that changed last year to this year in terms of how people, and what does it do for your game?
Yeah, it does a lot for my game because now I can catch and shoot the ball. So, I can play without the ball also. So, like, we got a dynamic player like Julius that draws the crowd, and, he passes the ball really well. So, I'll be locked and loaded, ready to go.
Was that just time in gym? Is that how you developed?
Yeah, for sure. This whole summer, man, me and C. Hines was just working on catching and shooting, pull-up threes, everything. 3-ball, we're trying to get it better, man, because we know people don't want me to get downhill. So if I develop that, I'll be able to get downhill like Will.
What's the kind of adjusting what you're doing to their personnel? Like they have one lineup where they probably play a little bit more drop, and you might see some of that, and then somebody subs out, and now they're in the gaps.
Right.
Switching and everything, just making those adjustments on the fly.
Just reading and react pretty much. Seeing how they sub, seeing who comes in the game. Being ready. Jackson Hayes may be in a high wall. He may blitz me. He may be in a drop. So just, like I said, just reading and reacting. Then they sub him out. Vando, they may blitz me or be heavy in the gaps. Like I said, just being able to trust my teammates. It's kind of similar to the Phoenix series last year. Like they was overly doubling me and stuff, and I didn't let it bother me. Just passing the ball, letting the game come to me, and then finding my spots as I go.
So much with the getting off of it is how quick you do it. How much does a week of practice help?
It helps a lot. It helps a lot because today I was a little rusty turning the ball over, and they was heavy in the gaps, so I was a little rusty today, and coach was getting mad at me. So it helps a lot. It makes me knock the rust off for sure.
Mike was talking yesterday about trust. You just mentioned the word trust a second ago. How have you seen that trust with this team kind of grow over the season, and how important is it to have that in a series like this?
The trust grew a lot throughout the season, man, and it's gonna mean a lot this series. Like you guys said, they're going to be in the gaps heavy. They're not going to never stop being in the gaps. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I get the ball, I'm going to see five people looking at me. I got to be willing to make that pass every time. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we just got to trust each other, man, and trust ourselves, our work.
And you talk about being competitive. And it seems to me that you've always tried hard in those situations. What's the difference between trying hard and thinking hard when the game's on the line?
Trying hard and thinking hard? I try not to think too much out there, because if you overthink, that's when you start to turn the ball over. But I try as hard as I can. I mean, I'm going to try to be super ultra aggressive from the beginning to the finish, but depending on how they guard me is depending on how I, analyze and play the game.
And you spoke last year about your relationship with KD and playing him in the playoffs. What's that relationship with Ron, and what's it mean to you to be able to match up against him for the first time?
It means a lot to match up against him, man. Probably goes down as the greatest player to ever play basketball. So trying to put him out the playoffs under my belt is going to be a tough one, but it's going to be a fun road.
And what did you learn about Luka facing him in a series, and how do you carry some of the things you saw there into this one here?
Great player. I think he might be the best player at making tough shots in the league. Just trying to make it tough on him, He done seen every coverage. He done been in every situation, so it's nothing he's not used to. But just try to make it tough on him.
Make him work defensively too,
Yeah, hell yeah, for sure. Yeah, make him move a little bit.
Seems like in the playoffs last year, you guys really had to rely on your defense to win series, win games. So obviously you want to do that this year. But do you just feel like your offense is more capable of carrying some load too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with a guy like Dante, adding a guy like Dante, spacing the floor, he can defend. You know what I'm saying? And when Jaden is playing with ultra confidence, I think we're hard to beat.
How about the emotions of, you got teed up a lot this year, all that stuff? Is it different in the playoffs? Is there a different threshold? Do you have to check even closer?
Yeah, I won't get no texts. I won't say anything. I'll be super quiet.
For sure?
100%.
Every year you've been in the league, your profile has grown, the media circus has gotten crazier, and now the playoffs, that continues more. How do you handle that kind of stuff?
It's easy, pretty much. Just be myself.
You said that the Dallas series you weren't ready to play. You talking about physically, mentally, just matches?
Physically, yeah. I was just out of it. Yeah, I'm in it now, though.
Did you learn a lot from the Olympics in terms of, just being around those people that you've taken with you all season this year?
Nah. Nope. None of those guys. I'm against them, so nope.
And, going into this season, you, Jaden, Nas kind of absorbed a new leadership role. What does it mean to you to be able to go into this playoff series with those three guys, or those two guys in particular?
I came in with Jaden, so it means a lot to have him as a running mate that I came in with. And like I said, man, when he plays with ultra confidence, we're hard to beat. And Nas is a great player, man. As long as he don't overthink and just be himself out there and have ultra confidence in his game too, we're hard to beat. So those two guys are definitely the X factors in the game, and they're going to take us over the top. Appreciate y'all. Yeah,
just a long run.
Do you is kind of making Luka work defensively a priority?
Sure.
Going into this?
Well, no doubt.
How do you go about that? I guess.
Yeah, I think his activity is we got to play way more in transition than we have done against these guys. I think just play with a lot more activity on and off the ball. There's lots of things that you can do. I think it's it's one of those marginal gains. You got to do a little bit more across the board with everything that you do, and that's how you can kind of make these guys work a little bit harder. So.
Dante and Nas both have the potential to be really explosive off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you balance out having that potential realized and playing like discipline within yourself?
Yeah, I think one thing I think we can do with those guys is, maybe stagger their entry into the game, because they often come in and they're kind of looking for the same things at the same time, and maybe they cannibalize each other just a little bit. I've thought about that for a lot coming down the stretch of the season. I know that's one thing you could do for those guys. But, we need those guys to come in and be who they are at a high level. That's one of our great strengths, is that, experience and the depth and the shooting that those guys bring. So.
This is like the time of year when you have the most time to tinker with things.
Uh-huh.
What's the balance of wanting to do that, especially for specific matchups, versus being like, here's what we did, here's what's worked on?
Yeah, I mean, big believer in don't create a problem when there's not a problem. Stick to some of the things that you're going to do well and you can repeat at a high level, and that's been part of your identity. Certainly got to be ready to adjust. There's a million ideas. Everybody's got 1,000, ideas of what to do at this time. I just need to go onto Twitter and I'm a better coach, So once things get a little rocky in the season, I'll just probably do that. But yeah, so it's not just about like having all these ideas. It's like, what can you actually accomplish at a high level? You may not have the personnel to do some things. You may not have the experience, or it just might not fit what you've done or how you've done things all year. So, you got to start by doing what you're really good at.
Yeah, Ant's talking about the different looks. He can see the things you guys are working on. He knows there's going to be like a lot of the gap help. And he said even this week, it's a little slow at to start, a little rusty with it. What is the value of that? He knows what to do, but to make sure that it's as on time and on point as it needs to be.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fine tuning to do around some things, offensively and defensively, and that's the advantage of having this week to prepare. Guys hadn't really done much in terms of a live setting up until today, so there was times it looked a little rough, but we expect as the week goes on it'll get better and guys will get more comfortable with the things that we've been asking them to do.
Chris, they have a lot of perimeter creators and you have a lot of high-level perimeter defenders. What's the value in being able to maybe shuffle matchups?
Yeah, I think
without coverages.
Sure. I think the league is so switch heavy right now at the moment. The more that you can do that, the better it is in game planning. But you still have to be able to sit down and win that matchup. We feel confident in our guys. I think defensively we've been traditionally really good there when we've been good. These guys have just so much game and ability to create for their teammates. That's one of the things that it's not just about stopping them. It's they have so much game to be able to help their teammates, and the guys alongside of them are just like them. So it's you can't just commit running around multiple guys to the ball, because now you're giving maybe the best player in the game to ever have played to the chance to pick you apart in space. So that does it's not always easy. So
it's not an exact comp, but the way you often play Jokic is to give him his points and close off his lanes. Is that a viable strategy with Luke as well?
Yeah, I mean, some teams have done it. I think that was kind of the approach Boston took again. But you got to have the personnel to execute these things. They have a bunch of switchable guys and stayed home everywhere. So, but I think to me, when you face these guys, you just got to throw a lot of different looks at them. So that's what you have to be comfortable doing. So.
That where Ant will probably see a lot of that too. Like,
yeah.
When they start the game, if Hayes is out there, he doesn't know if they'll blitz the first screen or if
they'll
drop, and then Hayes comes out and it's totally different. Has his ability, I guess, to toggle between like, okay, here's what this look is, and make those adjustments within one or two possessions, maybe grown?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's one of the most kind of impactful steps he's made this season. He's gone from being super frustrated for not being able to kind of play the game that he's wanted to play, to embracing it, to figuring it out in the moment a lot better. It used to take him a while, and now, I think he really is. I see him directing his teammates where he wants them in certain situations, which is really good, because now he's thinking a pass or two ahead. So.
presser? I mean, I don't remember the exact context, but I remember a couple of months ago after game, you talking about your team. You used the phrase, "You kind of are what you are" at this point. Did it take a little extra time for this team to come together? And if so, is this a little later? Like, is it not as common for teams to come together late in the season the way you guys have the last couple months? First of all, I think we started to come together mid-December, maybe a week out before Christmas. Really, in my mind, with things I could see that we look a lot more like now. Maybe we didn't carry the results all the time during that process, but I feel comfortable. I started feeling comfortable of who we could be then. We had some inconsistencies along the way. I think, so in that way, yeah, maybe it took longer. We finished strong in the results, but also our schedule softened up a little bit, so we were able to get some wins when they were there for us. We played a pretty tough schedule early, which was unfortunate, given everything else we were trying to figure out. I'd also like to think that, since I've been here, our teams have generally gotten better towards the end of the season. I think style of play kind of feeds that. We play with so much freedom, and once guys kind of figure that stuff out, like, you get more confidence in it as the season goes along, and you become a little bit more potent in your unpredictability. And, it just kind of helps you now because, you've seen teams multiple times, et cetera, et cetera. So, hopefully that, continues to get better, as we go forward in the playoffs, and we are really good at executing the game plan. But I think that's kind of been our personality. I don't know, you may disagree with me, but it feels like that. So I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Chris, this is your sixth,
I
think, playoff series for you. Just as an individual yourself, like, when you think about that first Memphis series, what that was like for you preparing for where you were at versus now with a lot of reps coaching the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Like, it's always been fun. Even as an assistant coach, kind of game plan, figure it out, install it, tweak it, and then after game one, you throw it all out and just make adjustments. That's fun. I think we're pretty confident, with our ability to come up with good game plans and feel that we can sell it to the guys and they can be happy and believe in it. That's really what it comes down to. We look forward to it. We look forward to again. I think the adjustment part's also pretty fun. And our guys are definitely super engaged in this series. So looking back to that first one, obviously there's just a lot of excitement to be there and everything. But I thought we did a good job even back then of doing what we were able to do with the roster that we had. So.
Last year, coming out of the sweep, you kind of shocked Phoenix with your defensive approach. Is it possible to do that to these guys?
Well, I mean, you gotta guard them. You're not gonna shut them out. They're pretty good offensively, and they do a good job of picking on like any weak spot that you have. So we like to think that we're pretty solid across the board. This series could be won by the offensive team just as much as the defense team, though. So
your comment of, like, you are who you are, it seems like this version of this team is a broader version of who you can be. So when Rudy's on the court or not on the court, it's less of a pronounced difference. You can be a different team. It seems.
I think that's a good assessment. I think optionality goes up with this team. Even with Rudy on, I feel like our optionality has gone up. And that could be lineups, that could be starting lineups, that could be lineup combinations, rotations, it could be scheme, it could be go-to guys on offense. So, I think when we talk about we are who we are, we know. I think with this team, it's like we know what we need to avoid being, and I think that's the key for us, So
that is like what they do, especially with their smaller lineup. Offensively in the past, like, you guys have beaten it sometimes, but that has been sometimes what's brought up the worst in you guys, right? With the gap help and the switching and all of that. Will that be a good gauge of exactly how far you've come in that area?
Offensively?
Yeah.
We've generally liked to, kind of stay big when teams go small.
I just mean, like, in your approach of, like, what not to do. That's when you guys become stagnant.
Yeah, absolutely. I attribute a lot of that growth to last year. Going into the playoffs, we knew what we had to do against a high volume switching team, and we were really able to kind of develop some habits there that I think have stuck with us. So.
What's your Twitter handle?
I don't.
You ever got blue sky for ideas?